Welcome to this video. In this video, I will explain some SSIS concepts, SQL Server Integration Services concept. So this is Said from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So these are some of the blogs where I provide short notes and videos, and this particular video will be posted under youtube.SaLearningSchool.com. So okay, this is the one. So YouTube SaLearningSchool.com. So if you search here, you might see some more videos on integration services or related concepts like SQL Server database design, reporting services, integration services, or master data tools, master data services, those kind of things. Anyway, you can subscribe. Time to time you will get some more videos. And this is SitesTree.com. Anyway, come to the point of the concepts that I will explain. I'm just writing it down, so I'm just creating this slide and as well as presenting it. Concepts to explain. So what is SSIS? That is one thing. Difference between DTS and SSIS. What is control flow? What is data flow? What is transformation? What is package? What is a task? You need to know all these concepts. I think if you know and understand, it will be easier to work, and sometimes it might happen that if you have the tool in front of you and you have an idea how you will do the transformation, or integration. Let's say you are integrating data from system to system, so you might be able to do without a very clear understanding of this concept, but these concepts will for sure help, and these concepts will for sure help you to make an efficient approach of the integration. And when the integration tasks will be complex, then all these concepts, combining these concepts, and for the particular situation, you will be able to define a good strategy. Or sometimes when you open the SSIS platform on your in front of you. I think by checking the menus and just playing a little bit around, you probably will be able to understand and do and all these concepts. Yeah, they will make sense, or from some assumption you will be able to do. This will actually work if you are familiar with the process in some other way. You have done this integration manually, or you have used some previous services, or you have written programming tasks or scripts for this integration purposes, or you moved data from here to there. So for many different things, and if you are a programmer, database designer, developer, so when the SSIS ID will be in front of you, and you have some stuff to do, probably by checking a little bit around, you will be able to you might be able to do it, and for the most part you will be able to do it. It's not rocket science for sure, but if you know these concepts, practice this concept, use this concept, it will help, and it will help you to have a good strategy. Anyway, that's not the point here. I think I will explain the concepts. What are variables and variable scopes? What else I can explain? What are containers? What are packages? Containers, packages. Okay, data flow, control flow, I already mentioned them. And I think what is transformation, it actually will be covered in other discussion, just putting it as a concept here. What is what is a transformation, and what are, I think, precedence constraints or predecessors constraints. I think it's precedence constraints. Or precedence constraints. Okay. So let's see, what is SSIS? What is SSIS? Yeah, I can tell. I think I can just also create some what can I do is SQL Server Integration Services. So it is an ETL tool, extract, transformation and load tool under SSIS, right? Extract, transformation and load. Extract actually extract data from a source, transform the data as you need. I think the source and the destination. Source data can be represented or stored a little bit differently, or before the saving in the destination, transferring to the destination, you might need to change the data a little bit or provide integrity, those kind of things. Transformation, change data according to your need, load in the destination. So you can understand that ETL, it will actually take data from one source to another, from one application to another application, or if you are rewriting a software from older source to newer software. So that's ETL. So for an example, let's say for a CRM software, if you want to integrate it with the existing organization database, organizational index database, so you might have to bring some data from there to here. Sometimes it can be a lookup, but for any reason, if you need to bring those, then it can be an ETL, and in the process the transformation can help. Let's see the organizational index, or yeah, in reality I had to actually deal with this situation. The CRM software had some organization data, organization software has some data, and the CRM software is being updated. So what is the case? I think the thing is there are many, the names are not the consistent in two different systems. The names are different, or probably for the same organization there are multiple entries. So there are many things. I think some names are shorthand, abbreviated, some are expanded. So yeah, that way the duplicates are created, or many different things. So in terms of that extract process, yeah, you can write query in your ETL step, write the query, and for those transformation process you need to identify the duplicates and remove those, adjust those, and also the newer entries you need to bring those, or if those organizations are no longer part of the system, they are not supposed to be in your CRM, and they are not probably in the original index. So yeah, removal of those no longer valid entries, those transformation can be done, and then eventually it has to be loaded into the new CRM software. So yeah, and many times, let's say when I was developing an API, so yeah, the API had collected data from many different sources, and also there are similar APIs, they are using a different approach. We are trying to see how those data matches and bringing in our system and comparing them. So yeah, I think in the transformation process, one of the issue, I think the data encoding that has to adjust, that was on the transformation part. Another thing was I think the data format in that other API tool and in our API tool, those are very different. I think I would say the table structure. So I had to map which column will go to where. So in that way, it has to be yeah. So the transformation and loading, it was there, and there are processing after. In another case, let's say, so I was developing a help desk management software, and it was integrated with the billing software or the inventory software. So yeah, help desk management, I think, yeah, we found many devices or many stuff are not there, or the quantity doesn't match, or when bringing, I think there are many inconsistencies referring to the device is not there, the constants were not defined. So there are many inconsistencies were there. So finding out, I think in terms of extract or transformation, yeah, they fall under transformation, and many times you might need to, many times people don't use, I think in many simpler cases, not SSIS, they might use some sort of scripting as well, but those scripting can also be built into this transformation process. Yeah, eventually ETL tool, you can use it and combine all those different tasks and strategies into one, and do your part. Anyway, that's the ETL concept. So that is one thing. So application to application, database to database, system to system, and it also helps in data warehousing, updates, data cube, data mart, updates. Yeah, I think in the data warehouse, the data is coming from many different sources, many different places into one dimensional cube or whatever you say. So it's coming there. So this SSIS can help in there, and some sort of transformation and verification can be in the process. And sometimes SQL Server maintenance tasks can be automated using SSIS. SQL Server database maintenance tasks can also be automated using SQL Server, updating data cube, data mart updates, and you can also define the control flow, data flow automation here. So DTS and SSIS. DTS and SSIS. DTS, what does it mean? Data transformation services. Transformation, data translation, data transformation services. And SSIS you already know. DTS, actually SSIS is an improvement to DTS. You can say an improvement or successor. So DTS, you can see it's a data transformation services, mainly transformation. Yeah, transformation is there, load is also there. It was, I think, 2000, before 2000, SQL Server 2000 or 2005, I believe. Yeah, it's for sure before 2000. Yeah, I believe I used it. Actually, SQL Server first I used in my undergrad third year. Undergraduate third year, that's when I first used SQL Server. That was 6.5, and then 7, then 2000. I might have used all the versions in between. 2005, 2003, 2008, 2012, 2014, and recently I have installed 2016. Anyway, data transformation service, and if you work with Microsoft Access, you will also see a similar DTS, sort of DTS or SSIS type of system. Yeah, that I used in Barry McKay Consulting. Free advertising for them, Barry McKay Consulting. Yeah, probably for some projects like Binar Marketing and Sales, that probably is some others. Anyway, so yeah, Microsoft Access, they also have the similar thing, DTS kind of thing. Anyway, improvement or successor to DTS. Okay, what is difference in SSIS than DTS? I think here control flow and data flow are separate. Control flow and data flow, I think from the name you can understand. Control flow, the execution of the tasks, and data flow, the execution of the data from system to system or in the or the transformation process. So those are separate, segregated. And data flow in SSIS use in memory architecture, or you can say they use some sort of buffer architecture. So yeah, you don't have to stage the data in the intermediate stage, and then so then they do it in the in-memory process, so it will be first. Okay, I probably could be creating the slides for each topic, then it could be easier to follow. Okay, what is control flow, what is data flow? I think I just mentioned a little while ago. Control flow, it is the flow of the sequence of work to do, and another term is control flow is the workflow. And what happens is when SQL Server Integration Services, you open it and you want to do it, so you create a package and then you define all the tasks, and then you define the control flow from task to task, whatever the way it will go. You define that the flow of those tasks, and precedence constraint, that is one another related concept. We'll come back to that. And data flow, yeah, it is the flow of the data. You define anything from extract, transformation to load, how the data will pass, that is the data flow. And data flow, I think transformation is part of the data flow. I think in the data flow process, transformation can be removing duplicates, bringing new data, or if you use some sort of lookups. Let's see, there is a concept, SQL Server Master Data concept. If you check in my YouTube video, you will see some master data knowledge base or profiling data, and then in the transformation process you can look up there just so that the same data is where, I think the same term for the data is used in everywhere. You can use province, Ontario, or ON. You want to be make consistent in all the places. So master data can contain either Ontario or ON, whatever you want, and then in the transformation process you can look up the corresponding knowledge base and find out the exact term that you want to use throughout the process, and then you can do it. So this kind of transformation task can be part of the data flow. Yeah, and probably the format of you want it to be a currency format. Probably previously it was only a number, but you want currency symbol, and all those commas, some specific format, and 2 digits after the decimal point. So all those transformation can work in the data flow. And data flow previously, as we told just now, that it's in memory architecture, buffer architecture. So this way the operation is very fast. Let me see what is a transformation, what are precedence constraints. I actually already have told them. Transformation, yeah, the source and destination. You might not want the data to be as it is. you might want to remove the duplicates, and you might want in a different format, or character encoding you want in a different character encoding, or you want to look up with the master data, or you want to format as a text or number, 5 digits after decimal point or 2 digits after decimal point. Those are the things. And precedence constraints, I think in the control flow, all the tasks you use this precedence constraints to define the flow. And for each precedence constraint, it can return success or failure, and you can make this flow conditional using this precedence control constraints. Okay, what is package? Yeah, I think when you in SSIS you create the package, the integration package, right? When you go, you create package, then you add task, then you define the workflow, data flow, and all those things. So the overall container of this task, of all those workflow, data flow, that is called the package. Okay. So yeah, container, actually the term I used now, forget about that. That probably is a misuse in this context. Actually, container is under package, right? Container is a concept that falls under the tree of package. Packages, it's just all the tasks and task flow. You create package, and then you define all the tasks and define all those flows. What is task? Task is one unit of work, just like in the programming language, one method of task. And SSIS also defines some predefined tasks. You can select in your package which are the tasks that you want to do. And then you can also define your own custom task. Data flow, control flow, transformation, precedence constraints, all are told. Okay, containers. Containers, let's say in your control flow, if you need to repeat some of the tasks, so that's the for loop container. Or repeat for loop container, but if you want to maintain a sequence of the tasks, for some reason they have to be logically grouped and need to be executed one by one. That can be the sequence container. And another one is for each container. For each container, it works like for loop, but it's work on an object, on a collection object thing. For each of these collection object, whatever object is in this collection, do these things one by one for each of the object. So that's the containers. Okay, what are variables? Yeah, as part of those logical flow, control flow, you might want to use some sort of variables to store values, and reuse them for something, just like in a programming world, use variables all the time. And what are the scopes of the variables? One thing is system variable. Just as part of the system, you don't have any control on it. It defines the system error or error description, those type of things, status of the flow, those kind of things, variables. System variables and other user defined variables. Yeah, you define your variable, and as part of the process you assign some variable to it, and at a later stage you try to use it and you try to compute something using these variables. That's the user defined variable. precedence constraints that I already told. So what did I miss? Let's see. For variables can be package level variable, it can be control level variable, okay. Let's say that's all for now. I can just repeat this slide. And the flow of the slide got a little bit changed. And one other container is task host container. Task host container, all the tasks are under this container. You don't see it in the SSIS IDE, but all the tasks under this container. Okay, that's all for now. Have fun.